Rain batters against shuttered windows, and wind assaults wooden beams. The binding is taking a moment of respite within an old temple, long worn down and repurposed by the locals. You arrived only a few hours ago to what the locals call Spiresquall Isle, and, true to its name, you are immediately beset by rain and harsh winds, sending up scalding harsh rains from the Simmersol Sea. Upon stepping onto the rocky shores, the locals invited you inside to avoid the storm. Now, Phallus, Frostglade, and Maris sit by a crackling fire at the far end of the temple. The other townsfolk have settled in to wait out the storm, and the town's magistrate, Jabari Hawk, passed you through some lentil soup before excusing himself to check on the others. And now, in this quiet moment, you have a few moments to reflect over the past few days. The Battle of the Atoll against the Baraknar fleet completed, and the Driftwood Glade has now joined the Storm's mandate. Victorious but hard battered, what did you three do in the 3 days between that battle and now?
A little bit of crying? What?
I'm loving what's happening here. Go ahead, Maris.
I thought you were saying I had some loving, and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh my, okay.
Wow, all right. We're kicking it off to a great start. I was just going to say, Maris
it could totally happen with Frostglade and,
Frostglade's Blaze pollinating. Yeah.
This is a great start, friends. Maris did probably a little bit of crying. It's been a rough few days for her. And while Okri's not gone per se, he kind of is gone. And that was someone that, she trusted and saved her life at, probably multiple points.
Yeah.
And also she got new armor because light armor's not doing her any favors, as we've seen multiple times in near-death experiences. So,
does medium armor slow you down or hinder you in any way?
Nope. It's the sweet spot. Like, the light was subtle, so no one would know she was wearing it. Now it's just obvious that she's wearing leather armor.
Nice.
Oh yeah, so there's no armor proficiency type of thing. So anybody could just wear heavy armor if they wanted to.
Even me? I don't think I can.
No, you need a certain body. So for example, to wear medium armor, she has 2 body. But
okay, cool.
Maris she's having a me time, taking care of herself, getting prepped for this next adventure.
I'm sure Frostglade could get harder wood to put on top of his wood. I don't know.
Go ahead, Phallus.
I would say Phallus has been doing a lot of soul searching. With Okri gone, I would say Okri was probably one of the people he was closest with, aside from Maris and Frostglade, who happen to be the party right now. And he's been thinking a lot about his place here now, seeing Okri quite happy to, head off, despite, Soulbound is forever type of mentality. And actually, while they're settling down here, he wants to take a seat next to Maris and say a few words.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a moment. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You open your mouth and one of the villagers just goes, shh, puts its finger on your lips.
Frostglade's about to talk.
We'll get to that. He's about to think. Yeah, so following the battle with Grimrot, Frostglade's been, for the past few days, he's been undergoing a bit of a transformation, a physical, spiritual, and mental transformation. For just a whole bunch of reasons. He's actually not had to say goodbye to Okri yet, because he's been spending a ton of time with the Driftwood Glade and the Dwarden from Baraknar, trying to make sure that that peace holds. So he has spent a good chunk of every single day there at the Driftwood Glade, making sure that the refinery is demolished and so on. But in terms of his physical and other transformations, I mean, after being shredded by Grimrot and the Thunderers, he's significantly diminished in form. Like, most of his protective outer bark was completely stripped away by the gunfire. His wounds were severe. So over the 3 days, while trying to help out and nurture this peace, he's had to recuperate. The physical transformation is that, the bark has regrown across his body, but rather than it being kind of like the armor-plated, old, craggy bark, it's more like smooth, almost animal, like polished burls that look like, deep brown musculature. And they're broken up by the glowing ruins, of course. But on close inspection, you even see that there are a few coralline growths at like his shoulder and elbows and knees. And the greatest transformation, though, other than the physical of it, is that, you know, you guys know he's often been a loner and he's never been super expressive. And that part hasn't changed too much. But over the past 72 hours, not a day has gone by that he hasn't come by specifically to see you both, and you suspect other members of the Binding, to offer a hand or even literally just to check in. So as he sits near the fire here and contentedly just looks at your faces, you even hear him humming like a growly, tuneless song occasionally. So multiple transformations being undergone with Frostglade right now.
Yeah, and also there's an aquarium in Frostglade's stomach now, which holds a koi.
Oh, is he Karg?
You go too far.
Or whatever?
Is he what?
Yeah. Is it the character Karg or the whatever from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh,
Krang? Like the Krang.
Oh, Krang.
I thought you were serious for a second, Murray. I was like, oh my god. And Maris is just going to sit there like putting fish food.
But I forgot to mention... I forgot to mention that Phallus also picked up some new armor because his previous armor got damaged, and there hasn't been enough time for him to go get it repaired, so he just bought a spare set of armor, and eventually he's going to have just 2 sets of armor with him at all times.
Just a closet full of armors.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be handy considering how often our armor gets damaged. Like, I could just take a 10-minute break and swap armor. Yeah. That'll be very helpful, so...
Awesome. Frostglade bought a shield as well.
In your rolling wardrobe. Oh, I need to also add, because I was talking about this before we record, replenish trader's cash. So I did that. Maris did that. Replenished her cash.
I got 2. You roll for that, right?
I rolled and I got
cool
2 successes.
Awesome.
Okay, 2 in your pocket.
I don't want to slow us down, but what does that mean?
So, for example, if I want to add successes to rolls, I could use those 2 successes, one of those 2. Or, for example, like if the party is looking for something or needing something, like I need some medicine, well, boom, Maris just happens to have that in her little trader's bag of goodies, her Mary Poppins bag.
Bag of wonders.
It's really cool. It's the trademark skill of the trade pioneer, so they're like prepared and have like access to strange, useful resources.
That's too bad. It doesn't sound very useful, though. I really wish we could apply it in some way to anything. Let's hope it comes up.
Wow, don't drag me.
As you're all, recollecting around the fire, you're brought back to the present as there's just this crackling of sap that lets out a satisfying crack of the wood, and you're brought back to the present, and you're all just sitting on the fire.
Stupid joke. I'm sorry.
I know. I was gonna make the joke, but you did it.
Bunch of saps. Sorry, what were you saying, Dave?
I'm just saying you're
interrupted.
I'm used to it. You're back in the present right now, and you're just all 3 sitting around the fire, and you have some soup that's been given to you.
There's a very loud... No, I can't make a slurping soup sound, but imagine there's someone slurping soup, and that's Maris. Just no spoon, just holding the bowl up to her face, chowing down.
I may as well warm up the Frostglade engine here, because I do want to ask Phallus something. I don't know if this is... well, you can interrupt it all you want, Dave. Phallus, this creature that you are attempting to hunt, is it a danger to Torlin?
It's quite large, Frostglade. I would say large enough to want to tangle with Torlin.
Worrisome. We'll have to do something about that to prepare.
Oh, I agree. I intend to hunt it down.
Yes.
More soup slurping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shut up, Maris.
We're trying to have a moment here. Phallus, takes that as a cue, walks over. You see him kind of like hesitant, nervous as he approaches Maris, but ultimately steels himself and takes a seat. Miss Mary, or Maris, I've been thinking...
Phallus.
With all that's happened so far with Master Lawless and your magic and all, well, I realize that magic is a tricky thing, and you really cannot rely on it one way or another. As as much as I have misgivings about you using magic, I also realize that I cannot leave it to others to fix things. You're clever, Miss Mary. Cleverer than I'll ever be. And that's why I leave the tactics to you. If it was up to me, I'll be shooting old Frosty in the back all the time.
That kind of already happens.
Oh.
The thing is, when you're clever, sometimes it's hard to tell when you're not clever enough. And look at what happened to Master Lawless. What I'm saying is, you may think you can outsmart this demon and use this magical power that you gained recently, and you might be right. If magic cannot be trusted either way, and I can't depend on the Stormcast to set things straight, then maybe I should trust what I know. And I trust you and that cleverness of yours.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, this is player Dylan just being like...
You were just hoping to have soup.
Maris is
Maris spits out the soup.
No, she's like half sips and just like spits the rest of it out and just gently puts it down and is like staring at Phallus and goes... And her voice is kind of breaking up when she starts to speak, and she's just like, Phallus, thank you. I really needed to hear that. And I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm so
before
sorry.
anything else, I'm still your friend, Miss Mary. So I'll be on your side from now on. And then his face kind of looks a little bit like emotionless here as he kind of steals his gaze and looks at you right in the eyes. And if it turns out that being clever isn't enough, well, as your friend, it'll be up to me to resolve the matter one way or another.
And Jesus Christ, dark. And Maris was about to like leap hug at Phallus, so she's like arms outstretched and she's about to go for it, and then stops, thinks about it, nods, and then completes the like throws herself at him to give him a big old hug. And then you hear a squeak from deep inside of her jacket as Pickles gets a bit smushed in between Phallus and Maris as they hug.
Yeah, Phallus pats Maris on the back of the head. Like, yeah.
So after a few moments of heartfelt conversations, soup spitting, and all that good stuff, you hear some footsteps, and you see Jabari Hawk kind of approaching you again. He's kind of an older man with kind of these like braided hairs kind of running back down the back of his head, and kind of like a thin mustache. And he walks over and he has a pot and ladle in hand, and he offers more soup to anyone who wants it. And he was like, "So, tell me again about this storm's mandate." And he'll refill any soup.
Everybody
cups that
turns
want
to
it.
look at Maris.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a group that's not well equipped for this.
Maris is again
No,
like,
well, that's okay.
tipping the bowl back as like Phallus and Frostglade looks at her. Well, we help people. I mean, what do you want to know exactly? Storm's Mandate. We're just a group of people that are we're trying to expand our reach. See what's happening in the world, what's happening within the realm, and she's just like a little flustered from the conversation with Phallus because this dude just walks up,
Right.
and so she's like eating soup, she's not doing a very good job, guys.
All
Well, right now, most of the islands on Simmersol Sea are separated on their own. If you join the binding, they'll all be one large group, and we can help each other, whether it be in trade or protection, what have you. And you can rely on the Stormcast for most things.
And what would you want from us?
Sorry, what's the question?
What would you want from us in order to join?
I don't anticipate we'd be asking for anything immediately. It's just, as you would want to rely on us for help when you are in trouble, we'll be asking for help if we ever get in trouble, whatever you may be able to provide.
Do you have any food?
Oh well, we're primarily a fishing port here. I mean, we're pretty small, and he kind of turns and passes a hand across like the room. Like, there's only about 9 of us here. I mean, it's town is generous,
They're
we'll say,
primarily
but
a lentil-based island.
lentils and fishing, exactly. But I mean, we'd be more than happy to share out some of our fishing harvests if we could get some other stuff. I should also just mention, like, I'm the magistrate here, but I can't make that decision for everyone. You're gonna have to convince these people.
And you said, we have to convince 9 people? There's
Well,
9 of you here?
There's 9 of us, yeah, but I mean, technically, you'd only have to convince 4, and I can tie break. So
When could we bring everyone together to do that?
well, everyone's here right now, but everyone's.
Where'd you come from?
They're just all standing around us.
Are you not looking at so I'm seeing them all on roll 20 here, along
I'll
with
lay it
2
out.
like succulent pigs. By the way, you're saying like they don't have much food. I mean, it's just an average meal, and they've got 2 pigs, 2 whole pigs for 9 people.
It's Tuesday. But
Did you
you're
forget
looking
your
around
coat?
the room, and I'll kind of lay out who you see here. So you see a pair of fisher folk kind of warming themselves by the fire. One is playing, strumming away on a cherrywood lute. It's very atmospheric. You see a woman in an exotic outfit. She kind of has this hood and veil across her face, and you notice that as she moves, she has like these diamonds across her cheeks that kind of catch in the firelight. You see over in the corner, you see this rather scrawny-looking farmhand. He's like staring off into a drink pretty idly. You see a Dwarden priest over in the corner next to a makeshift shrine. You see another Dwarden male, bald with a huge beard, who's asleep on a pew that's propped up against the wall. You also see a raven-haired woman with a long ponytail and lamellar armor sitting at one of the tables, kind of poking at food. And you see another at the table.
She's got the whole pig to herself.
Yeah. You see another young man at the table in these kind of pristine amber-colored robes. And, I tried to coordinate some folks, but people are a little bit worn out. If you want to go meet and plead your case to them, you're more than welcome to.
Well, let's do it.
Yes.
We should go talk to the person who looks the least like an NPC.
Who'd you like to go talk to? So yeah, like he said, like you'll need to convince at least 4 people. Who do you want to go talk to?
Let's start with the Dwarden. Frostglade stands and notices them and heads over. This is probably a mistake, but well.
Sure, go ahead and move your tokens around. Are you talking to the female cleric Dwarden over by the shrine, or are you talking to the sleeping Dwarden?
I think I want to start with the priest.
Sure, go for it.
She is already moves.
Sorry. Yeah,
no, I'm glad you did, because I was like, okay. I'm gonna very slowly walk over there, and I'm there. Frostglade walks up. I don't know if you guys are coming with me. You're more than welcome to, of course. Whether you do or not, Frostglade gets close and says, "Greetings. I am Frostglade. Can we speak?"
Oh, of course. Please have a seat by the fire. I was just tending to the shrine of Valea.
Valea. Oh, I was about to say, I don't know anything about that god, but maybe I do. What do I roll?
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and do... Sorry, I gotta remember this. Do a lore mind. You could do a 4-2.
Okay.
And anyone's welcome to do that.
Lore, you say. Okay.
Not theology?
Oh, actually, yeah, you totally should be theology. Sorry. Yeah, do a theology mind 4-2. Good call out.
That makes very good sense, actually.
Substantially more sense, yeah.
I was gonna argue for something else, but I don't think it makes sense. Cool.
Beast handling.
4-2. So wow, It's been a while. So I need 2 4s or better.
2 4 pluses.
What was the name of the god again?
Valea.
I'm not familiar with Valea. Can you tell me about her?
You actually kind of see her face light up a little bit. Are the other two of you there too?
I was gonna have Maris walk over as well, and I got
Sure.
2 successes.
Oh, okay, cool. So I think as Frostblade asks that, Maris, you know that Valea is a Dwarden god. She is known as the goddess of home and hearth, healing and brewing. She's kind of, you could imagine, like a caretaker goddess. She's also the wife of Grungi and Grimnir, which are some other Dwarden gods. Her followers are kind of known for being, like very like caretakers. In Dwarden society, you know that the home and the hearth are like incredibly significant things. So she's incredibly important in that regard.
So she has 2 husbands?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Heck yes.
Nice.
So Maris gets like excited and I'm sorry, I need you to repeat the name again because I'm
Valea.
Valea. I was gonna say Valea. That's not Valea.
Valea fish. Yeah.
Valea fish. Valea. There, now I remember it. Maris gets a little bit excited and is looking at the Dwarden and to Frostglade, and like she just starts talking, doesn't really give the Dwarden woman a chance to reply, and goes, Valea, yeah, she's and ma'am, correct me if I'm wrong, but like for like hearth and home, and doesn't she have 2 husbands? And I've heard that like people that are like in her service, like a lot about healing potions or salves and stuff like that. Is that am I right? Am I far off?
You notice actually that her face is alight, and she just is really happy, and she actually like grabs your hand and like kind of gives it a little pat on the top, like, it's exactly right. Not many people know about Valea here in the Slagmire Isles. I was worried that people were beginning to forget.
I do a lot of reading.
Oh,
a lot. Well, that's well, please let me introduce myself and my companions. My name's Maris Honeysuckle. I'm with Storm's Mandate, and this is a Phallus, Phallus is way behind me. This isn't Phallus. This is Frostglade, the big tall tree guy.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I don't meet many Sylvaneth around here.
There are more than you think, but fewer that I would like.
And then she kind of like waves, because Phallus, I think, is still by the fire from the sounds of it. And she gives you a polite wave and kind of turns back to there too.
Phallus kind of like waves back.
Tip of the hat.
Yeah. How can I help you?
Well, we are, we could say we're adventurers, but our community, our home, we're looking at creating more of a community, and we traveled here just to like explore and see if perhaps we could establish like a trade route, or perhaps a safe haven, or if any help is needed, or any like exchange that we could happen. And we were talking to I don't remember their name, but they made really good soup. Yeah, thanks, Frostglade. And we were just wanting to meet some of the locals and like see if that would be of interest for folks.
So what would you're trying to bring people together and everything? Sounds interesting.
That's part of it. Like you wouldn't have to, like, I mean, if you were interested, you could join us on our home on Torland, but like it sounds like you're probably here for a reason. But like, for example, I'm coming from a long line of trade pioneers. So one of the things we'd be able to do, I hear your village, your area, there's a lot of fishing. And so maybe we could provide some services or some goods, or if you just like going on an adventure. And she just kind of like shrugs.
she chuckles and says, I'm a little bit of a homebody, but I can appreciate that. She seems a little on the hesitant side to sign up, but if you wanted to try and do a check, you could do that.
Yes,
let's definitely do that. Frostglade wants to help, and my help would probably come in the form of stories of how we've helped other people. I won't get into the gruesome details because most of them are, but specifically defeating the evils around here, I think would probably appeal to this woman.
Sure, absolutely. And go ahead. It's going to be on a 4-up, but go ahead and give advantage on that because you knew about Valea and you actually recited it back to her, and she's really liked that. So it's going to be on 4s normally, down to 3s, and then it's just going to be a social check. So go ahead and do a Guile Mind.
Cool. Do I automatically help?
Yeah.
Noise.
So I get an extra dice for that, right?
Yepers. Yeah. I am not trained in any of the things.
And then that's the DN is 3.
It's competitive, so you're going to have to beat her resistance. That's just the social checks are competitive. But you got 2.
Dylan.
I have 5 dice that I'm rolling, so I'm really going to get her. Oh, maybe not.
Uh-oh.
Well, I rolled a 1, 2 2s, and oh no, you don't want me to do that. I got a 1, 2 2s, and 2 3s.
Oh, that's 2.
That's 2.
Oh,
no
I guess
focus.
Two successes. No, I just had a training.
Okay, so you tie, which means you win.
Yes! Just barely.
Just barely. So yeah, it takes her a little while, and she kind of like, she clutches like a rune on her chest that you see, and she kind of like thinks about it, and well, it's probably safer than being alone right now. Well, okay, I can get behind that.
Oh, I meant to tell her about the Grimrot's former crew that joined up. That's kind of a big deal. Ah, well, next time.
What about the other Warden? Like, I don't know if they're friends or anything.
Well, I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Thank you. You won't regret it. Who would you suggest that we talk to next?
Well, I mean, if you're going to try and sway people, there's some people that are going to be a little bit more opposed to it than others. I don't know. I think everyone's going to have their own reasons.
Thanks,
Didn't
Dave.
make it easier, Dave.
Nice try.
Do you know that other Dorden?
Oh, well, yeah, there's 9 of us, so Mikolov.
Who the hell is that?
I've never seen him before in my life.
Are you friends with the other Dorden? I don't want to make assumptions.
Why would you make an assumption about us being or not being friends?
Stop. Let's just go talk to someone.
I don't think he would take kindly to being woken up.
Dave, don't. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Frostglade. I'm gonna let Frostglade or Foul. Who? Someone else up.
So what was the magistrate's name again?
Jabari.
Hawk, which I imagine is spelled with an E at the end, for this is a fantasy realm.
Yeah.
So Faust is still there talking to the magistrate.
Mm-hmm.
Master Hawk. So you said you would be able to act as a tiebreaker. I take it to mean that you are in favor of joining the mandate?
I would say that the thing that I'm worried about the most is being alone on this island. There's 9 of us. And I've seen things. I would be on board, yes.
That's good to know. I don't suppose you know if any of the other occupants of this island are particularly friendly with each other. It might help if we convince one that they would be able to convince their friend along with them.
Well, I know you over by the fire, you can see Typhoon Terry and Mud Skipper. Those are our fishermen. They basically spend all their time together, so they argue a lot, but they do care about each other, so I assume they're a little bit of a package deal. Otherwise, I mean, Ji Yi holds a lot of sway in our little community. She's kind of been our protector for a long time. I think she might be some trouble to convince, to be completely honest. She's made a few comments about you ever since you arrived. But, her words mean a lot for these people.
I'm guessing that's the diamond face lady?
No, Ji Yi is the woman in armor sitting at one of the tables.
Oh, the one who has the pig all to herself.
Yes.
We should probably go to her next.
All right. So Phallus looks over, sees that Maris and Frostglade are done talking, and then he kind of gestures over towards the lady in the armor, and then he joins them. So thank you very much, Master Hawk. we'll
course.
hopefully get this going.
All right, good luck.
Thank you for your time.
He says, leaving the dwarven priest.
So
Dwarven, sorry.
dearie.
Oh, no.
No! Okay. Yeah, you approach Ji Yi. You see her. She's sitting at the table and kind of, doesn't look up, but you can kind of tell from her body language that she is aware that you're approaching her. Yeah, she's wearing Limalar armor, and yeah, she's got her hair back in a kind of a long ponytail, and she's kind of got this like very, austere, like serious expression, and kind of like glances up as you. Looks like Phallus sits down at the table across from her.
Yep. It's like, you mind if I take a seat?
It's open.
Thank you kindly. You may have already heard, but we are here representing the Storm's mandate, and we have interest of bringing all the islands in the Simmersol Sea under the fold so that we can cooperate and aid each other when, the need arises. I've been told that you have a position of import on this island, and we are hoping that, along with convincing others, we would be able to convince you that this would be a good idea. The entire time he's like talking to her, he's like kind of sweating bullets a little bit because he's not really used to talking, and he's like looking at Maris like, jump in anytime now.
Sure. Yeah. When she's looking at you, like her eyes don't waver at all. She's like just staring directly at you, making like perfect eye contact, and just like assessing your words very carefully. And she kind of pauses as she sees you look to the others.
Maris waves.
From 4 feet away. Hi!
Hi!
Yeah, she gives you kind of like she squints a little bit and like nods slightly.
Oh,
So-
oh no, Maris shouldn't talk.
He's like, this is your leader?
Hello, my name is Frostglade. What is your name?
I'm Ji Yi. This is my community here, and to be honest, it takes a lot of nerve to come in here and say that we're doing things wrong and that you're somehow better at it.
Oh no, I don't think anybody's saying that. No, it's about protection. There are many dangers out there. We have been beset by them for
I'm well
weeks
aware of all the
now.
dangers around here, Master Tree, but to be honest, I've heard what you've all done, and I'm not impressed. You've been here for so long, and we still have the same issues as when you first arrived. I've heard of it.
What are those issues?
We still have pirate rats scouring the seas. We have a plague of undead constructs roaming around and slaughtering islands. The Deep King is still taking people under the waves. And to be blunt, now we've seen an arrival of corsairs. Things have gotten worse since you've arrived.
Well,
Let me just say.
He hikes up his shorts and he's like, well.
those are all serious problems. We have been able to deal with one, at least, to some degree. Phallus, you went and took care of the warp derrick, no?
That's right, but most of their navy was gone when we were there, though we took care of
Ah,
that.
shit. I was really hoping that would help.
We did take down the Admiral.
Maris is actually looking a little visibly annoyed.
Okay.
And so
Cast a
she's gonna
spell.
she's gonna hike up her shorts. She's gonna hike up her shorts, and
Yeah.
she's, gonna try to, like, I'm not gonna roll for intimidation. We're not there yet, but she's trying to, like, steel herself and look a little bit more serious. And even Pickles is, like, sitting on her shoulder, and, like, if you can imagine a weasel with, like, little angry eyebrows pointing downwards, that's
Oh,
what's
wow.
going on right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And Maris is looking and go, now wait a minute. Who's to say it wouldn't have been worse if we weren't here? Who's to say that this island wouldn't be gone? Any more islands would be gone. That the Deep King wouldn't be ruling right now. Who's to say? You? No. We're here because we want to help. It's not that you're not doing it right, but it could be done better. And why go at it alone when we can join forces and be better than who we were before? Be better and take care of those issues.
We are stronger together. We have a common goal of trying to protect the good folks of this area. I don't see why we can't lend aid whenever we need it.
Do you guys want to do a social check?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I think any three of you can choose to kind of be the lead on this one. Go ahead and do a guile mind.
I
I'm
want to
pretty
use
sure Maris
Maris
took
got
the
the
lead
best
on that.
guile, yeah.
Yeah, and diplomat, advantage to pose tests when resolving conflict.
Oh,
So-
you didn't use that last time.
Oh, that's a
I
big
didn't.
deal.
It wasn't really.
Nice.
It wasn't really there wasn't really conflict in the last one, right?
I mean, it's an
It was-
opposed check, but okay, sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so I'll with that. Does that give me an? What does that do? Advantage.
So you get an
Does that
advantage
lower
means you succeed on 3s instead of 4s.
Okay,
And then you
that's
get
right.
1 extra die from the aid that both Frostblade
Okay.
and I are providing.
So 3s is what I have to beat. Here I got a little 5 dice again. Oh, I got 2 successes. I got 3
Don't worry,
successes.
she seems like a warrior, which means her charisma and guile must be terrible.
two 2s, 2 4s, and a 5. So 3 successes.
Nice.
Successes. Okay. Okay, I have a little bit of a side question. Frostblade, what items are you carrying right now?
Oh, so Frostblade's oh man, he's well armed. He's probably not wandering around the tavern or the inn with all of his gear, but next to the door is his giant fucking scrap sword. He's definitely always carrying his bow. And his bandolier with his hammers and blades. That's also probably now resting with his scrap sword at the door. So he's mostly got his bow right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Phallus takes a seat, he does the classic
Riker?
opens the duster a little bit, and you can kind of see at his holster is the whip.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to think he did like the Riker sitting down, where he just throws his leg over the back of the chair to sit.
Yeah, turns the chair backwards and then throws his leg over it. Yeah.
The reason I ask Frostblade is, Frostblade, do you also have that buckler?
Oh yeah, I forgot. So I don't have the one that was destroyed. Thanks very much, but I did buy a new shield.
Okay, so the sword that so a couple things happen. One is you kind of notice she doesn't have any response for you after you say that. She kind of pauses and thinks about it for a moment, and then she kind of starts watching the three of you again, and she spots the sword that Frostblade is carrying.
The one-hander that I got off of the at the Magmadroth Island.
That's the one.
Gotcha.
And she looks at it and kind of narrows her eyes again and asks, "Where did you get that?"
Oh, this.
And he'll
this
draw
whole thing
it as dangerously as possible. Ha! No, just kidding. He very carefully draws it out, and he'll place it on the table, and he will say,
A few weeks ago, we visited an island that had been almost entirely destroyed by...
and he thinks, we suspect they were undead automatons, right? That went through there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do I know the name of those creatures?
The Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
We suspect the Ossiarch Bone Reapers went through and defeated some Dwarden. We didn't have to face them, but we did face a small Magmadroth who was left behind. I took this sword from the dead.
You fought a Molten Infernoth, not a Magmadroth.
I'm sorry, that...
So as you kind of mention that and explain it, you see her face soften slightly, and she holds out a hand to inspect the weapon.
With care and even a little bit of reverence, he'll hand it to her.
Okay. Yeah, she looks at it and kind of examines it. So the blade is made from Ignis Jade, which is that green green blade with banded ribbons of red. You've seen it a few times. You saw it in that Nephrian pyramid in your first arc. You had that giant stone, which you've actually taken back to Torlin. Somewhere. It's in some closet. It's probably got some old laundry on it or something.
As she's looking at it, Frostglade will just say,
It has served me very well.
Do you want to do...
oh, yes. Of course.
Does anyone want to do an intuition mind?
Ah, shit.
Yes, I do, because
Okay.
I feel like I have no. Well, yeah.
I got a good mind, but no intuition, but I'll mind it up.
Just give me successes on 4s.
How did I roll 3 1s?
Oh my goodness. 2 successes from Frostglade.
Okay.
I
Zero.
also rolled. Well, I rolled 2 1s, but yes, snake eyes.
Okay. So sorry, it was 2 successes from Maris only. Was that right?
I have 0 successes. 3 1s.
Frostglade got
and-
2. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Frostglade. You kind of get the impression that she's seen these weapons before and knows kind of its history quite a bit. She doesn't say anything though, as she kind of puts it back down on the table and slides it towards you.
Oh, I need to hear this story. Frostglade says,
Do you recognize the blade, the materials, or maybe the people who would have wielded it? I would be eager to hear your tale.
She kind of pauses and says, "Well, it's the story of Nephria, I'm afraid."
Yeah, let's hear it.
The rise and fall of the Nephrian Empire.
yep.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes or less, please.
Yeah. Nephria was a dynasty here. They came here around 400 years ago with the same intentions that you had. Uniting everyone and building up an empire and, creating a strong navy to defend the islands. This was, before the coming of the Stormcast, the Age of Myth.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
no, I don't think that's right. I think it's the Age of Chaos. Before the
Oh,
Age of Sigmar.
I'm not impressed anymore.
Yeah. And they were here. You might find Nephrian ruins all across these islands in some form or function. But over time, when you have something successful, everyone wants a piece of it. They had to contend with different threats. But ultimately, what they wanted to do is they wanted to have their own destiny. I've heard of you, and I've heard that you're soulbound, and maybe this doesn't make sense to you, but a soul is a precious thing. And in this life, when we're done, our souls get taken away. And there's a few people it typically goes to. It's either going to be reforged by Sigmar into one of those metal-clad warriors and thrown into a battlefield somewhere to fight his wars, or you're taken to the realm of death by Nagash, or you're taken by Tithe to the Deep One. All 3 of them were fighting over the Nephrian souls for a long time. And ultimately, they had enough of it. And they decided that what they were going to do is they were going to deny all 3 of them the ability to take their souls. So they bound themselves into these slates of Ignis Jade, and they left the world.
Huh. Are the slates that we found in the past that made us into crazy people, were those made of Ignis Jade?
Are you asking her that?
No, I'm asking you that out of game.
It doesn't, it looks like a different material from your
Okay,
experience.
cool.
So Frostglade's not a mass murderer for breaking all those plates.
Yeah.
It's like a barrel full of them.
Do you want to ask her about that? Or what were you wanting to do?
Ooh, that's a big step. I don't think Frostglade's willing to share that information.
Not
He
until she
will.
joins the binding.
He will, yeah. Well, I'll tell you. No, he will say that. He'll just add that.
Yes, we found some ruins of this dynasty. We didn't know what to make of it. Thank you for your information.
And when they begin to make the walk into the Jade, you can imagine that the gods weren't happy with that, and they took some revenge. Nagash took the Jade and reforged it into automatons that you see scrolling around these islands right now. They're made out of the Jade and the souls within. And others that weren't able to be forged into these creatures tinted them black and cursed them with fell magics. And the rest just eventually died off.
That will not be our fate, I don't think. But we are here to help protect against those creatures.
Yeah. Do you want to do a check or anything, or? Yeah.
What was the result of the previous check?
She basically gave you information. Like, she gave you history and information. She's more open to you. She's basically gone down a level of resistance. Yeah, she's not hostile towards you anymore.
Okay, cool. So, short answer's got to be yes. We definitely want to convince her. What's going to be compelling to this woman? I mean, so Frostglade would say,
What?
Nope.
Go ahead. Nope.
Okay. Frostglade says,
The storm's mandate. I am an outsider in many respects, but I can tell you that we are interested in safety and defense, maybe above all else. Your island is small, and the dangers are many. I believe we can help you a great deal, at least in that way.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll a guile?
great.
Frostglade picks up Maris and rolls.
Maris helps Frostglade.
What is hang on. You gotta say what you're doing. You can't just help. And also, why are you rolling dice if you're helping?
I'm not rolling dice. I just said I'm helping. Okay, what is Maris gonna say? Well, Maris is gonna look and go, just because we're soulbound doesn't mean we think souls aren't precious. That's one of the reasons we bound our souls together, that we could do more together, and by doing that we would have more ability to expand our reach, our ability to help people. Like I don't see why that would be a bad thing, and why it would think that we appreciate life or our souls or what we're doing less.
I don't know if she was suggesting that. But...
Well, it sounded like it. Like she's like, you're soulbound, so maybe this doesn't matter that much to your souls. And then,
she did allude to that.
Yeah.
Did she? Oh,
and then she went on a whole
shady.
story, and Maris is like, fuck this shit. No. I'm not throwing my soul away like it's a piece of trash.
Maris hikes her shorts even higher. It's like...
they're over her mouth. Do I get a help from that?
You do?
So I have a training in it, and what is it just...
Oh.
Doesn't
so you give 2 dice over to Frostglade then.
Well, look who's rolling 5 dice.
Yeah, welcome to my world. With guile, I mean, not anything else.
What you got?
You muted yourself, Isaac.
I don't know what you got, because you're... We can't hear you.
How long ago did I mute myself? Oh, no.
When you were
Just
rolling.
barely.
Yeah.
This whole episode, I've yet to hear you talk.
Oh, no, I haven't said a word. So if we are on 4s... I got 3 successes.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
You beat out her 2 successes.
Woo!
She kind of thinks about it for a moment and nods slowly. She asks, so what are you intending to do with the Ossiarchs?
Well, to be honest, we weren't sure of the force that existed, but you are telling us that one is out there, roaming, and dangerous, yes?
Yes, they come through, and they've been fighting a war against the Deep Ones as a sort of petty revenge. But I'm not sure who would win.
2 dangerous enemies, both needing our attention. If I could, I would wipe them all out. At the very least, we will make them a priority, speak to our leadership, and either hunt them down, or I'm not sure what other options there may be.
She kind of looks to the other 2 of you for your insight and commitment.
Yep, Phallus nods.
Maris nods.
Yeah.
Like enthusiastically. Pickles is also nodding, though he's like only like understood half of what Frostglade said.
Okay. With that, she kind of puts her palms on the table and stands up to her full height, and extends a hand to what sounds like Frostglade first.
All of us awkwardly grab her hand at different parts of her arm.
Does the rest of the islanders see this? Will this influence?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you notice that she's standing up because she thinks that her opinion has weight.
Hmm.
And you notice that some people do look over.
I don't want this to be a weird flex or anything, but Frostglade also stands out of respect and reaches down with great care and reverence and takes her hands and throws her out of the room and says,
"My thanks for listening to us. This will be good for us all."
Yeah, and she shakes your hand and says, "If you can find the Ossiarchs and release them, I want to do that for my people." She shakes your hand.
We will look for them.
Oh, is she Nephrian? Like ancestry?
Do you want to do an intuition mind?
Oh yeah, because that's definitely Faust is amazing at this. I actually have 2 successes.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell that she's of the Nephrian lineage. Yeah, you actually notice from the intuition.
Damn.
You notice that you haven't seen the Ossiarchs, so you wouldn't necessarily know this, but yeah, I don't know if I can really. Maybe Frostglade will tell you. I'm just going to tell you anyways because it will go unnoticed otherwise.
"It's a secret I'll take to my grave."
So the armor that she's wearing, the lamellar kind of like folded patterned armor, you can tell, and Frostglade will just kind of say you know this too. The Ossiarchs kind of have that armor design kind of on their plates as if it's like some kind of cruel joke. So they've kind of been inspired and lifted from the people whose souls they took. And you also notice that you kind of see a pendant on her neck that is kind of made from that Ignis Jade as well, with red ribbons running through it.
Ahoy hoy, it's Murray, the brains, or lack thereof, behind your favorite Corsair fellas. I hope you're all excited as I am for the Questward Gang's return to Soulbound, Season 2. We've already got a few sessions recorded, so there should be another episode next week. Be sure to tune in for that. As always, major thanks to all our patrons for your kindness and generosity. We're going to start putting up some blog posts on the Patreon soon. I believe Isaac is writing up a postmortem on the Fallout campaign, and I'm drafting up something about doing tabletop RPGs with younger kids. If you haven't seen the picture of me playing Pathfinder with my kid yet, it's posted in the questing companions section of our Discord server. You can find the link to our Discord and Patreon in the show notes section of the podcast, and if you're unable to join us on either of those, we would greatly appreciate if you could take 2 minutes to leave a nice review of the podcast on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts from. Reading those comments really help us to keep motivated and as we start year 2 of the Soulbound campaign. Anyways, I've kept you long enough. Thanks again for listening. We now return you to our scheduled program.
So, you have gotten the confirmation from 2 of the 9, not including Jabari, who will act as the tiebreaker as the 9th vote. You've so far convinced Paula, the dwarven cleric of Valea, and Ji Yi, kind of the warrior defender of this island. Who'd you like to talk to next? Do you need a reminder on who's all in here?
Oh, no.
No,
Please.
we're going straight for Typhoon Terry and Mud Skipper.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 2-for-1 deal. I was going to suggest that.
Never mind. Please re-explain them, though, when we approach, because I need that.
All we
Sure,
got were names so far.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, we'll go ahead and move your tokens over.
The only 2 fishermen on this the island that specializes in fishing.
You approach. You see the pair of them. The one known as Mud Skipper is sitting. He's got a cherrywood lute in his hands. He's plucking away and in front of the fire. Both of them are wearing kind of these, quite dirtied and kind of worn, thick leathers, kind of overalls. And Mud Skipper's wearing like a cool olive drab, while Typhoon Terry is wearing blue. And Typhoon Terry's kind of got like this chin strap, like big bushy chin strap and like swooping black hair. And Mud Skipper kind of has this like, kind of long hair starting from like a balding line around his head that kind of goes down along his back. And they both kind of like look at you and kind of give you a little bit of a nod.
There's probably some sort of hilarious slang for that sort of haircut. We should make it up for a future episode.
Yeah.
Frostglade is going to walk up to where he is on the map. I'm just on the edge of that great big comfortable looking mossy rug, and he's just going to sit down right on the floor and listen
like
attentively.
Apple cross.
I wasn't going to say that,
Crisscross
but yeah,
applesauce.
probably.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And Maris is going to lean against Frostglade because, like, you know, he's a good tree stump to lean against.
Okay. Yeah.
Ahoy! I heard you're the island's 80% of the island's GDP.
Yeah, that's right. They wouldn't be able to do too much without us. That's for sure. And then Typhoon Terry says, "Yeah, that's right." And then
I feel like we're in Borderlands.
Are they twins?
They're best friends. This is basically the same thing.
Who's taking the lead on this one? Is it you, fellas?
Seems like it. All right. I suppose you know why we're here. You may have heard of the Storm's Mandate. We are roaming between the islands and the Cimmersol Sea, trying to bring them all together to us one fold so that we can cooperate and aid each other wherever necessary. I've been told by your magistrate that the decision to join the mandate will be put up to a vote, and I'm here to talk to you two in hopes of earning your vote.
Frostglade nods and rumbles.
Yes.
Maris puts thumbs ups.
And then Mud Skipper kind of like raises an eyebrow and looks over at Typhoon Terry like, sounds like they're trying to earn the vote. And Typhoon Terry says, yeah, sounds like it. And they kind of like turn and look at you as like, so how would you like to actually, earn it? Rather than just all the fancy talk.
Is there...
What you want? Sorry, I'm in Borderlands.
I don't. Is there any particular concerns or questions you may have? Anything that would make you hesitant to want to join?
Typhoon Terry kind of brushes a hand through his long bushy chin strap. It's like, well, there is that problem with the fishing nets. Yeah, that's right, the fishing nets. So here's the deal. We've been having some issues actually hauling our fish out of the water recently. There's been a deep mare just coming through and shredding our nets. And, we can't haul up much fish, and certainly not enough to share it with anybody else. So...
a what?
A who now?
Is the group saying that, or the players saying that?
Players.
A what?
A deep mare? I assume it's like a seahorse, but in the water and terrifying.
I want to roll to know if we know anything about it.
Yeah, do it. I'll let you choose between beast handling and lore.
I'll use my brain. Just mind it up.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, same.
I've got a couple of 3s, and that's the best I can do, Dave.
Not enough. If anyone can give me 2 4s.
Okay, let me go. Nope.
We don't know anything.
We don't shit all.
That's what we say.
Yeah.
What is a deep mare?
Deep mares are one of the most... Oh, I like this. Well, the deep mares are one of the most ferocious predators in the entire sea. If you could
The mispronunciation is fantastic. Love it.
If you could imagine, like a sea dragon, maybe? I don't know. It's like a big fish with 2 claws, a big spike coming out of its forehead, and then like vicious teeth. And then you can imagine 4 lashing tails. So
holy crap.
These things shred our nets right open, and then the fish just go running away. And then Terry cuts in and says, yeah, that's exactly right.
This is where, as a player, I know exactly what they are, because I think I, had looked up, the Isle and, they ride them, and then I was like, my character doesn't know, so this is,
That's the essence of role-playing.
Yeah.
This is annoying. No, but normally it's the other way around. I don't know, and then Maris knows, and I gotta look up.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be attacking your boats. You're not in any dangers yourself?
Nah, I mean, if it's, the biggest threat to us is long-term profitability. And then Typhoon Terry looks over and says, and then they both look over at you expectantly. Just great jokes. Yeah.
So dumb.
Phallus looks over to the other two. He's like, I don't suppose we'd be able to do anything about this right now.
You want to go
We
fishing?
do have our whaling boat out. It would be good practice.
Sure.
Yeah, you could go. I mean,
Yeah.
so
it's
the thing
evening
about
right now, so obviously we wouldn't go out in nighttime. Sailors would know this, but it's not smart to go out sailing at night.
the other thing too is you all have armor on, so it's probably not going to be an issue for you. But for anybody else, the rain is like slightly acidic, so if you spend time out there, it's like considered a hazard.
Oh, I
That's
don't want
why
to
everyone's-
ruin my
That's why
new
everyone's
armor.
inside right now. Yeah.
I don't. No. Okay, who else can we convince?
I mean,
Screw
how
these-
much
screw-
longer?
Screw,
You've given up.
Screw Typhoid Mary. I mean, Typhoon Terry.
Oh,
I keep
gosh.
saying
Wow, that escalated quickly.
Well, so
that's what it's based off of.
so what
I
is
assume.
Maris doing anything?
No, she's just thinking and
Oh, okay.
pretending, wishing she knew what the fucking deep mare was. More about them.
Okay.
Well, no. Okay, wait. Is Maris doing anything? She's looking to see if there's anyone else that was like really intently invested in the conversation, like especially since they had just convinced the other person. I forgot her name.
Gee.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gee. Why don't you go ahead and do an awareness mind, if you want to like kind of check out who's paying attention.
Who's who in the zoo?
Who's who in
Okay.
the zoo?
I should eventually put a point in training into awareness. I got a 5, a 3, and a 2.
Cool. You notice that ever since you've walked in, you notice that the hooded woman with the veil has been watching you all as you came in, and she's kind of been writing things down in a book. And you also notice that other than that, you notice in the corner, Hickory is not really paying too much attention to you. He's actually watching Styx. Is that his name? Yeah, Styx, who's the robed person sitting at this table. And of course, I'm sure as you can guess, that's Sleeping Dwarden, who is named Mikolov, is not paying attention to anyone.
Nikolov?
Mikolov. Frostblade is
Mikolov, oh.
not giving up on these fishermen yet, so if you guys take off, that's fine. But I've got some aces up my sleeves.
Well, I mean, if the party is, obliges, we could kind of promise we can try to do something about it the next day after the rain, in the morning, and hopefully after the rain has stopped.
That's
As
what I
well.
was thinking.
Do you
But,
say
like,
that?
Yeah. Well, that's what Phallus glances over to the other two and is like, well, maybe we might be able to do something about this in the next day or whenever the squall ends.
Also, are you familiar with the Driftwood Glade?
They kind of glance over to each other and kind of look back like, no.
It's to the east, a glade of my people. They've just joined the Storm's mandate. They may be able to help, but if not...
And none of you have seen this before, but Frostblade closes his eyes and centers himself and takes the deepest breath. His lungs just keep filling. And then as he lets them out, you see this physical change come over him. And you see webs grow between his fingers and toes as he's sitting crisscross. You see gills pop out of his neck. And he says,
I may be able to help if they will not. I can promise you I will try.
I think as you do that and those gills pop out, like Mudskipper stops playing the lute for the first time, and the whole time they just kind of like watch you with like open eyes, like, "What are you exactly, friend?"
Just a Sylvaneth finding his faith.
I'm just a simple Sylvaneth making my way through the galaxy.
I like blue jeans, cold beer, pickup trucks, and that's that.
So they kind of like are kind of curious and interested, and they kind of look at you, Mr. Corsair, and they kind of like narrow their eyes. And Typhoon Terry kind of says, while they're like, he's looking at you, but he says this over to Mudskipper, the light of Hush is shining too bright.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
What does that mean?
So, well, yeah, anyway, we're not having that talk.
Didn't.
Okay.
Okay. Out of character, I do want to remind you, because Dylan, you would know this.
This was from
Maris
that,
would
that,
know this.
That we stopped at that island, right?
Yeah, the
there
sea
like
stack.
the sea stack, and they said that, and we tried to say something in response, but we
No.
completely got it wrong. No.
Pretty much, yes, but no, we didn't get it wrong. You were the only one. Maris was the only one who
That's right.
recognized that
Yes,
this was
yeah.
essentially pirate talk, and that's what we knew.
Is there a knowledge roll that Phallus could do if this is something that, pirates might know? I'm starting to suspect now as a player, not as a character, that it might have something to do with the Shurden. They might have been now starting to weave a web of piracy in the seas.
Why don't you go ahead and roll a lore mind? It's going to be let's do a 6-1. If you can get a 6-1. It's very specialized knowledge, my
Can
friend.
I help?
Yeah.
I mean,
I can help
How?
though.
How?
Because I recognized what was being said.
but we're not
So I could,
talking to
lean
each other, though.
Oh, but I could lean over and whisper into Phallus's ear about where I've noticed this before
Dave,
and know
ruling?
of it.
I'm on the fence with that one. I'm going to roll a dice, and that'll be a yes or no.
Okay.
And it was a 6, so yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Cool.
So
So
how
I-
many extra training do you have?
0, so you get 1 dice.
Okay. Well, I went from this sound to this sound, so that's better.
That is better.
But I did not get a 6.
Ugh.
I got a 5.
Okay.
It was close. 5, 4, 3.
Do you want to
Well,
use
guys,
any?
time to use up some of that soul fire.
I'm going
You can
to.
if you want. Yeah.
Can I give him a? Can I give people successes for my trader's cash?
I don't know.
I don't
does it
think
work?
so,
Does it
but
s-
I mean, you could do that for your own lore knowledge at this point.
can expend successes to add to a test.
While you
I
guys are
don't-
figuring this out, Frostglade lets his submarine changes fade away, and he's back to normal. I just want to make sure I'm not a fish person all the time.
Well, I mean, that'll be kind of hard to breathe in land, but yeah.
Yeah,
That's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot. So sorry, what's going on here?
It doesn't. Never mind. I was going to try to use my trader's cash, but it doesn't. It just says after a test of any kind, you can choose to expend a number of successes from your trader's cash to add an equal number of successes to the result. So I don't know. That'd be like DM's discretion. I think.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to add to mine, but I think if you were to do your own lore check right
okay.
now, you could add it to yours, and we only need one success.
You can also use a reroll dice via your Soulfire. You can also use Soulfire to just maximize your
Just to get
results.
6s, yeah. But I'm not going to burn the soul fire on this, though.
No.
Sure.
Then I'm gonna go ahead and roll myself.
Okay.
So 3. Does it help that she already kind of recognizes it, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, let's just try without using a success and see if I. Nope. So I'm gonna use one of my trader cash, and I get 1 success.
You buy a success. Okay.
I buy a success.
all right.
I have 1 left.
So I'm going to send this to you via Discord, Dylan.
Oh, sneaky. I was going to write it down, Dave. Well done.
That I can decide how much I want to share.
It's a 3-page
Precisely.
essay, single space, size 8 font.
That's a long secret verbal handshake. If that's the case. Settle in, guys. Yeah, settle in. What you want?
When you say
Books
that, I'm
are
just picturing of
important.
the Terrans, when they like.
Oh yeah, there's that
Yeah.
too. Yep.
Yeah.
So he said the light of Hesh shines too bright.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay. So I got a success. So Maris is listening to Phallus and was it Typhoon or who said it? Which one? They look whatever. It doesn't matter.
They're the same person.
And Maris kind of pets Tickle on her shoulder while she's listening and just looks him in the eye. And I gotta make sure I'm pronouncing this. But Maris voice, sorry. But a ghoul shade is no cause for fright.
And yeah, they both kind of look at you, and Mud Skipper kind of looks around the room and starts playing again to kind of cover up some stuff. Well, fair enough. The deal is done. Make sure you send us back proof of that deep mirror, and we'll make this work.
Will do.
What?
Thank you so much. And she goes up to them and shakes their hand, and Pickles is chittering happily too, and
Phallus.
waving his little fingers at them.
What's going on?
Clever is as clever does, Frosty.
Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything.
he like they as they step away, Phallus kind of like ruffles Maris's hair.
Don't you know the smuggler's code? And she's like, she doesn't yell it. It sounds like she's yelling it because it's going to her voice.
We gotta get ourselves a new code.
She like gestures for them to come in and like, how do I do like a stage whisper? Don't you know the smuggler's code?
That was louder. You leaned into the mic, so it was like way louder.
And I even cupped my hands around my mouth, so that did not work out. Let's just Maris is just gonna look smug and smile. And I'll tell you later.
She can probably still whisper like a human being. It's not like her voice is always through the roof.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't know how to do that. Nor do I.
You know how like
we'll
some
just say
people's
she
voices they
whispers.
just cut and carry. You know.
She whispers it to them. I'll just narrator. She whispered it to them.
So what was the deal we made then?
We're gonna hunt this sea mare thing. Deep mare.
Deep mare.
Okay.
Tomorrow. After it's no longer raining acid, hopefully.
Okie dokie.
Well, I mean, like Dave said, our armor protects us from the acid, so we should be okay regardless.
I kind of want to talk to the chick with the veil, but like we could just go to bed.
But she's got a book. You like books.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't know
It's up to
anything
you guys.
about that, Miss Mary. You go ahead.
Hide your books, hide your magic. It's Maris.
There's time.
That's is she writing in the book or reading?
It looks like she's writing. Yeah, she's got like
Okay.
a quill that has like, it's kind of like, looks like it's a like parrot feather.
She's got a yellow highlighter. It's just been highlighting
Yeah.
phrases.
So Maris is gonna thank the sea twins. I don't know.
Sea twins? Okay.
The fisherman twins. Thank
Sure.
you.
No problem.
We
All right,
appreciate
take care.
it.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming.
All right.
Good
And
playing.
then Maris is gonna like not even say anything after like whispering to Frostglade and Fowl. She's just gonna like walk over to that lady and like I assume the woman's watching, but she's gonna approach in a way that's very obvious. She's approaching, like waving, and go, "Hi, hello."
Are you others approaching as well?
Slowly, I will stand up and then Yal follow.
I
Okay.
think, I mean, they're close enough. Fowls is just going to stay where he is and just kind of keep an eye on things. Just kind of
Sure.
hang out with the Fisher twins.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure you can chat about the oceans and stuff.
Yeah.
So the woman kind of like looks at you and she says, Wicca from Bright Spear sees a colorful one and a giant tree approach her. How can I help you?
You're from Bright Sphere?
Yes, that's right.
I'm from Bright Sphere too.
We should be friends.
I don't know why my voice was that high. That was not Maris. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm assuming you've already kind of overheard our conversation happening the last little while.
Wicca hears many things, and you're not particularly quiet.
You're not wrong. But my name's Maris Honeysuckle. These are my companions, Frostglade. She points at the tree, and Phallus, and points all the way back at the Corsair behind.
Tip of the hat, milady.
It's a good day to meet so many people so colorful.
Yeah. What brings you all the way out here from Bright Sphere?
Wicca looks for new stories and new details, and quite frankly, this place is rife with them.
Well, I absolutely love stories and I love books. Are you recording them all down?
Wicca writes what she sees and what inspires her, and there's a great many things in these books.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what has inspired you here of all places?
Here on the island?
Yeah.
Well, look around. You have 9 people
looks
eking out a... Good, very good. There are 9 of us here on this island. Each of us has their own little pocket of life, and each life is detailed in its own way. It's amazing. It might not be
Yes.
grand, but it's amazing.
I was, oh, cool. Now I'm just stumped.
Wicker wants to know, is everything okay?
I mean, as okay as it can be in this day and age, with acid rain outside and with people disappearing. I guess it's as best as it can be. She kind of laughs a little a little nervously. Frostglade, no. It's just scary.
Wicker assumes that you want her vote?
Yes.
I mean, it would be what he said, but I was more so just curious, like what you were writing and what you're doing here. Like, it's true, everyone's here for a different reason, but not everyone's sitting here writing what they see. What do you do with the stories that you write after they've been written?
Wicker doesn't need to do anything with the stories. They're stories for the sake of stories.
Just gonna post them in our travel blog.
So, what are you?
That's rude. Jeez.
She kind of pauses and kind of regards you quietly, like, care to be more specific?
Well, your face is hidden. You speak you speak of yourself in third person, and you write stories. Like there's Dwardens here, there's humans here. I'm just kind of struggling to see where you fit in, unless it's as in you're a recorder of history.
Wicker is many things, and Wicker chooses which of those things every day, what she chooses to be.
Okay. Well,
neat.
Do we have your vote?
Wicker is not going to give the vote for free.
How about
Wicker isn't opposed.
I tell you a story?
Exactly what I was going to want. Please.
Nice.
And she pats a seat on the bench and slides over. Tell me your story.
Oh, my story? Does it have to be my story?
You're the one talking to her.
Can I tell you a story about my grandpa?
Sure.
So, I come from a line of trade pioneers that are actually based in Brightspear. And my grandfather, Edmund, while he was a part of the trades pioneer, the main thing that my family did was just establishing, of course, new trade routes between the realms. But he didn't want to do that. And then Pickles is kind of like edges out and like starts wrapping around her neck and like tail around her neck and his little nose on top of her tail as she's talking. And he was more interested in adventuring, not necessarily going between different cities or realms. I mean, that is an adventure in itself, but he didn't want to do the same old. And he actually became quite close to a wizard or various wizards, because Brightsphere is just brimming with magic in general. And one of the wizards was going after was an endless spell, and they were in search of an endless spell. And that's kind of how my grandfather found Pickles, because it's hard to travel between the realms, and you need a story or some sort of guidance to be able to tell where to go when you're lost, especially if you're traveling on your own. Do you know much about Mostory?
Wicker loves stories, and Wicker loves moose stories. I've heard of them, yes. Wicker has heard of them. Damn it, that's hard.
I appreciated it.
Well, while my grandfather was getting ready to search for this endless spell, he had to do some prep, and Pickles, it was Pickles. So while there were Mostory that were for sale, they were captured, and Mostory shouldn't be captured. They shouldn't be caged, and they're very difficult to find, and they live in between, like, the slivers in between the realms, and they're very, very playful creatures. So my grandfather spent a few weeks luring out this little guy right here, and she like scritches him on his head. And
you can tell that as you're doing this, she's drawing a picture of Pickles in the margins. It's very cute.
And while it was supposed to be relatively simple, like it's a lot to get their trust, but it should be easy enough to kind of find them. But Pickles took my grandfather Edmund on a chase. They jumped between many different realms. Pickles even tried to trick him, luring him into a trap of oh God, what are those big football dudes? The big ball dudes. What are those names?
Football dudes.
The big
I don't know.
the big red guys.
Oh, squigs
that have teeth. Yeah, even luring him into a trap of squigs. Like, why? Why would you do that, Pickles? I don't understand that. But my grandfather survived, and while Pickles thought it was damn hilarious, eventually my grandfather gained Pickles' trust, and Pickles wanted to go on the adventures with him instead of just flitting to and fro between the realm. Pickles wanted to chase that endless spell with him. And even when my grandfather passed away, Pickles was with him. And eventually Pickles came to me, and together Pickles and I are now on our next adventure. I guess you could say, like, in a way, it was my grandfather and Pickles that kind of encouraged me to take this life, to be here where I am, to leave Brightspear and not just be stuck going over the same trade routes over and over and over again, expected to do what the rest of my family is doing. Here I am, setting out, making my own choices, creating my own path, meeting people like you on my own, not because I was told to do it. So I guess that's a kind of just a roundabout story to tell you how I came here, how I got Pickles. I miss Brightspear, though. It would be nice to go back one day.
Okay, misses it too. Thank you for sharing. And your grandfather, I assume the endless spell was eventually caught?
In a way, but it cost him.
She stops writing and kind of like closes the book for a moment. She says, "Thank you. Wicker believes that it's important to know who you're dealing with and where they come from, and I can trust you."
Thank you.
You have her vote.
Ooh, 3 guaranteed.
I want to read all of her books, and Mare steals her bag of books and runs away. Not really. No.
Runs off.
If you have time later, I would love to sit and hear your stories, or maybe read some of them. Later on, though, maybe.
Absolutely. Wicker's documented many things about this, even this region. If you want to know something, hopefully Wicker will be able to help you.
Oh, we should keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We should just get Wicker to join, come to Torlund.
Yeah, I wonder.
I see it, Dave. It's up in the sky. It says Wicker has joined the binding. Welcome.
It would be interesting to know if she knows things like the Stilt Man and other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I say, since the Fisher guys aren't guaranteed, maybe we talk to one more, and then we can go out and try to hunt the deep worm or deep mare.
So the Fisher guy, the Fisher folk have said that they will vote, and they're trusting you to honor the
I see.
promise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then it's up to you guys. What do you guys want to do?
In game, in character and narrative, we should talk to everybody. But at this point, I'd be really happy to do a star wipe and maybe even just do some quick rolls.
Sure. Yeah. So I think at this point, that's probably the place that makes the most sense to kind of close out everything. So after a few moments, Jabari walks over and asks, well, are you ready?
We're ready.
Yes, do the vote.
Okay. So everyone walks over.
The sleeping Dwarden rolls
rolls.
off the pew. It just rolls all the way to the center of the room.
Yeah, so I think everyone kind of gathers in the center, kind of ready to hear your pitch. So I'm going to ask one of you or all of you or whoever wants to do it to kind of do the specific call for a vote and introduction to the Storm's mandate. So everyone gathers around. Paula, sorry, not Paula. What is her actual name?
Paula Abdul.
You said Paula.
Yeah,
that's what I wrote down.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You're right. Paula walks over, and on the way, Jabari kind of points at her and points at the sleeping Dwarden. and she kind of shakes the bench, and he kind of like slumps over and kind of walks over, completely unaware that this vote was kind of being formed. GE kind of stands resolutely at the table, her arms crossed. Hickory and Styx wander over. Typhoon, Terry, and Mudskipper make their way as well, and Wicker sits on a nearer pew, ready to listen.
I don't think earlier you ever said Hickory and then Styx together like that. That's so ridiculous, Dave. It's fine. It's fine.
They're so
It's
good.
a delicious snack. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as the three of you are kind of like standing in the center, Jabari, kind of gets everyone prepared and then turns it over to you.
Frostblade steps forward and stands to his full height, assuming he can, and says,
"Hello, everyone. Citizens of Spiresquall, my name is Frostglade, and I am here with my friends and allies representing the Storm's mandate. We have been in the Simmersol Sea for the past month, and our goal is the security and safety of all who live here who are goodly and interested in the greater good. We are asking you to join the Storm's mandate so we can learn from and protect one another. And let me tell you from my experience as an outsider, this is a group worth joining. We will battle your enemies and keep you as safe as we can. Please vote yes."
On proposition.
"Yeah, exactly. On
431.
proposition."
Rock the vote. I'm once again asking for your support.
Yeah. Okay. And then Jabari kind of looks to everyone and says, well, this is going to be significant for us. It might put us into peril, or it might save us entirely. So it's up to all of us to decide what we want to do together. And can I get a show of hands? And you notice all three of you vote.
Just showing hands. Yeah, we're not actually voting yet.
The first one to raise their hand is Paula, and then followed by Wicker. And then after a few moments, GE puts up a hand resolutely. And seeing that, you notice Styx and Hickory kind of look over it and kind of like, think about it for a moment. They're followed by Typhoon, Terry, and Mudskipper putting up their hands to the air. And after a few moments, with seeing the group together, you actually notice that everyone puts their hands up.
Welcome to the Storm's mandate.